I don't get it.
Podcast.
Hey guys, it is Ashley,
Lauren, and Naz.
Today we are going to be speaking with Jess Suchan. She is a holistic wellness expert. I met her at a Dermatologica event a couple weeks ago where we talked about how your nutrition, of course, affects your skin quality, but also how you can prevent hormonal acne based on certain foods that you eat. Like, I think we all have talked enough about, you know, how I have had acne issues and I'm like super medicated for it. And I love being on medication for it. But I know that when I try to get pregnant, it's not going to be an option. And she's going to have some tips for how you can eliminate hormonal acne with just food and other things about wellness. It's such a thing these days. We have Goop. And then what is the thing that Courtney has now? What's Courtney's?
Goop?
No, Gwyneth
who?
has Goop. Kourtney Kardashian has...
Poosh. Sorry. I should know that the one Courtney in my life is Kourtney
As I'm
Kardashian.
looking at, I was like, what other Courtney?
I have no
One
other.
looking at you.
Courtney, who puts our podcast together, of course.
I guess I could have clarified. I have another bridesmaid named Courtney as well. But so I have a couple questions we can just start off with. But first, Jess, do you want to tell us exactly what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure.
Like, what's a wellness coach?
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for having me. I'm really excited to be with you. So I get asked that a lot. So
I'm sorry.
No. And it's good because I forget that it's not really a common term still, holistic health coach. It's
What does holistic mean?
looking at the whole picture.
Okay.
So it's not a personal trainer. You know, I'm not just a food coach. It's about mind, body, soul. So I believe that everything that shows up on your plate, the food that shows up on your plate, is just a physical representation of everything else going on in your life.
Oh, 100%.
So if...
Mine's a sloppy Joe.
No. What does that say? So if, you know, it's not, we can eat broccoli and chicken and all the clean foods all day long, but if you're not addressing the stressors in your life, if you're not getting to what you're doing for your self-care on a daily basis, if you're not maybe honing in on those toxic relationships that you still have, it's not really going to matter what you're eating. And so I truly believe that we have to look at I call it the holistic picture instead of just one thing. A lot of times we're told like, oh, you should eat this food, like be keto. The next day it's like, oh, be paleo, be vegan, or do this type of HIIT workout. But, and people get upset because it's like, well, I'm not seeing the results that the Instagram model who's doing it is showing.
What I loved what you said during the panel, during the Dermatologica event, was that you were like, if carbs agree with you, then eat your carbs. Like, it's not like there's certain foods that just because like some people shun them doesn't mean that like your body doesn't do it well or if it's not going to like benefit you.
Yeah. And I think that's really my message kind of in a nutshell is that if it works for you, it works. And that's so basic. And we just overcomplicate everything.
Yeah.
Like we really do. And I feel like that's what needs to change. We have to learn to check in with ourselves. And I think that you're hearing that more. But what does that really mean? It's like drowning out the noise. Like, oh, well, my doctor told me to do this. And then like this expert that I follow on Instagram is saying to do this. And then my mom's doing this diet where she's lost 40 pounds. Now I'm going to do that. And it's like, well, do you even like those things? Because results come from consistency, and you're never going to be consistent with something that you don't enjoy.
So I really enjoy pasta, and I actually feel like bread and carbs just agree with my body a lot. I feel like I feel the best, and I have the most energy when I have them, and I don't feel like they make me gain weight. And when people are like, oh, it's low carb, I'm like, are you sure? Like, does it matter to me? I don't think it matters to me.
And that's the thing is that it sounds like you know your body. Like,
Right.
you know that you feel energized when you eat carbs, and there's probably certain foods that, you know, don't make you feel so good.
Like salads.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
even kidding you. So I think that like salads make me not feel good because there's like too much. Is there a certain kind of fiber, like non-soluble fiber in them?
Well, it's probably the cruciferous vegetable. So like kale, do you find that when you eat like kale or cauliflower.
I find that when I eat those things, I agree with them very much when they're in a green drink, but when they're actually in the salad form, I get really, really bloated.
Yeah, that can happen. And so if you steam it or you roast those vegetables, you probably have an easier time digesting them. But raw cruciferous vegetables can be really hard.
Yeah,
So-
that's why I can't. I have a holistic doctor.
Yeah.
and she told me to avoid salads because you're digesting like 10 things at once.
Right.
And again,
different-
some people are totally fine
Right.
and don't have an issue, but it's dependent upon your own body. And, you know, with kale, if you massage it and you kind of like get the juices going a little bit there, sometimes that can also help. You could also take like a digestive enzyme to help break it down and make it easier on your stomach.
So what about that myth, or I don't know if it's a myth, that when you cook the food, you lose a lot of the nutrients? Is that true?
I think it can be true if you're let's say that you're grilling something on like a barbecue. It can become carcinogenic, and so you do lose nutrients. If you're roasting at super high temperatures and maybe not using the correct cooking oil, that also can be true. But I think that we get into complexities here where it's like, just eat vegetables.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where people get really hung up and they're like, I have to now roast and steam and I can't eat it raw. Like, if it doesn't feel good, don't eat it raw.
Yeah.
If you're going to eat more vegetables and you steam or roast or bake, do it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question. What about drinking vegetables? Because obviously we're like, we've all been talking about this like big celery juice craze. So what is your take on celery juice? Is it all hype or is it like a real life changer?
Okay. So I have some opinions about celery juice.
Oh, God. Spill the juice.
So the medical medium is the guy who kind of came
Oh my God.
out.
Favorite Instagram that I follow.
Really?
Oh my
Medical
God.
Medium?
The medical medium is the greatest Instagram because I have endometriosis and fibroids.
Okay,
so
so you
he's always
find it-
like, have this, have that, eat this for that.
Yeah. No, and I think he's
digress.
great too, but he's the one who came out with he made the celery juice craze a craze.
really?
Oh,
yeah.
then that's why I like it.
Yeah, totally. So, the big sort of like claim is that it really helps with like bloating and digestion.
Okay.
And he says that you have to drink the celery straight. You can't add any lemon
Right.
or ginger
Yeah.
or anything else because it quote unquote dilutes the medicinal properties. And that's sort of the phrase I have a little bit of trouble with. I'm like, what does
how
that
could
mean?
That do that?
And I don't understand, and this is just me potentially not doing enough research into it, but I don't understand how adding a little bit of ginger, which is extremely anti-inflammatory, could take away the effects. And so if it works for you to add in a little bit of ginger and lemon, that's great. My other thing with it is that I'm all about sustainability. So if you can do something every
To help
single
the
day for the
environment,
rest of your life, awesome. But I went to do a 30-day celery juice cleanse with my husband. Not cleanse, but to do celery juice every day. Yeah.
Well, when we
And-
say that, we should probably explain to everyone listening. So it's
Okay,
supposed
yeah.
to be on an empty stomach when you
First
wake
thing
up.
in the morning.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, and it's supposed to be like 16 to 20 ounces, which is a big
That's a
glass.
ton. That's like a whole bunch of celery.
it's a
that-
whole
It's a
bunch.
whole bunch that you would
Yeah,
buy
that's why
at the
when you
grocery
started
store.
juicing, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to do that. That takes so much celery.
Well, it does take a bit of time. Like if I'm going to go and make celery juice in the morning, I would need to like reserve 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Totally.
And cleaning out a juicer gives me so much
Oh,
anxiety.
the cleaning out the juicer sucks.
I don't think I'll ever clean out a
I just
juicer my
would
whole
never
life.
entertain this idea of
Thank you.
ever.
But
Exactly.
I would
Yeah.
just buy it.
But
Yeah.
then
Just buy
buying
it.
it, they say that like within 30 minutes, it's not as powerful.
Yes.
Continue, Jess.
No,
Sorry.
you guys are honestly answering. This is exactly my problem with it. Is I started to do the whole challenge, and it was like this thing where we get up in the morning and we'd be juicing, and like I would have to wait until my husband woke up, so I wasn't waking him up. So then I'd be like starving. And I'm like, dude, like, we need to do our celery. And so we would like get up and do the celery juice. And then one of us would be like, I'm not it. I don't want to clean the juicer. And then someone else would be left cleaning the juicer. And then I'd be driving. I'd get home and I realized I don't have any celery. So then I'm texting him like, hey, can you go by the store and get celery? And then a day or two would go by where we didn't have celery. And then we started to feel guilty. We're like, oh, we missed 2 days. Is that a big deal? And for me, a big part of my story is that I yo-yo dieted for 12 years. And I help a lot of my clients break free from that. And when I start to get back into that mindset of like guilt, I'm just like, no, This isn't for me. It doesn't feel sustainable. It's stressing me out. And I really, for me personally, didn't notice any major benefits.
But how long did you do it?
I did it for 15 days.
Okay.
That's a long
So
time.
I don't think that's a long time at all.
Oh, I think that's...
Don't you have to do it for like months to like
No.
see the change?
I mean, they say that you can.
They say like in a couple of days.
In a
you
couple
can-
weeks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Some people
I
say
didn't
in a
know
few
that.
days. It really depends. But it's just the fact that maybe I would have seen a difference if I stuck it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just felt like for me and my husband, it wasn't something that we could maintain. And so I've had a lot of clients who have also asked me about it. I'm like, try it for yourself. If you find that you're less bloated, you have more energy, that's awesome. It means it works for you. But a lot of them were sort of relieved in hearing me say, like, if you feel stressed by it, there's other alternatives. There's things that can help you deep bloat and to feel more energized that don't involve drinking celery juice. But I also know of people who have had incredible results with it. Reduced bloating, less sugar cravings, more energy. But you've done it and you feel like...
I'm going to do it.
Oh, yeah,
so we'll
do
see what
it.
happens. I like had one at like, once a week. Like nothing like consistent. But I think that's like good advice because people get so stressed to follow
And then the
diets
stress is going to
and-
make you bloat.
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
sense,
It's just like
you
if
know?
it doesn't work for you, don't
Yeah.
do it. Obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone can agree that a part of being healthy is getting enough hydration throughout the day. And Liquid IV packs 3 water bottles into 1 water bottle. So you're always hydrated.
I love Liquid IV because when I feel like I'm going to be on a shoe or, I'm just going to be dehydrated and not around a water fountain or where water is provided, I throw like a bunch of packets in my bag. And when I'm at work, I put it in one of the water bottles and I know that I'm getting enough hydration as if I would have been drinking 3, which is why this company is so clutch.
And it contains 5 essential vitamins, including more vitamin C than an orange and as much potassium as a banana. And it's just, you're drinking 1 bottle of water.
What's really cool about Liquid IV is that they use cellular transport technology, CTT, and that is a specific ratio of glucose, which is pure cane sugar, sodium, and potassium when mixed with 16 ounces of water. So all this stuff helps your body absorb more of the water and nutrients you drink directly into your bloodstream.
Liquid IV is a healthy alternative to those traditional sugary sports drinks. There's no artificial flavors, preservatives like Pedialyte or Gatorade, which you would think to drink after like a hangover or something or during a hangover. But instead for grabbing those sugary drinks, you can just grab a Liquid IV and it's good as drinking 2 to 3 bottles of water.
Exactly. And guys, this just isn't your average electrolyte drink mix. Also, I would recommend using these for your post-workout recovery. You know how people never know like what to eat or drink after working out? This is very clutch for that too. So, Lauren, tell them where to get their discount.
Well, Liquid IV is the fastest growing hydration brand, and you can find them everywhere, even Costco, the best place on earth. And you can find them at all Costco's nationwide. I love Liquid IV, and I know you will too. So right now, our listeners get 20% off at liquidiv.com when you use our code GETIT at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order at Liquid IV's website. Go to liquidiv.com and enter the promo code GETIT to get your savings and start getting better hydration. That's liquidiv.com, promo code GETIT. Don't wait, get hydrated today. So what does like your day-to-day look like when you're with a client?
So,
Or like a new client maybe?
Okay, so that's a really good question. A lot of my clients are actually all over the country, so I do a lot of calls.
Okay.
I only have a few clients who are actually in LA, and so it depends. So let's say it's like an LA client, we would meet up at like a cute coffee shop or somewhere. I always like to meet different places, switch it up. Sometimes in the summer we'll do like a beach walk, like a walking meeting, or like a neighborhood walk, just to change it up. And it's different for every single person. So it's kind of like my whole thing. If, what works for you is not going to work for you, is not going to work for you, is not going to work for me. And so I treat my clients the same way. Everyone's an individual. And so they all come to me with different desires and goals. And a lot of them initially want to lose weight, or they think they want to, and it becomes so much bigger than that. So initially we might start talking about, if it's a new client, what I always do is, okay, what I want to start with is a day in the life, like from morning to night. What do you wake up feeling like? Are you bouncing out of bed with energy? Like, what do you eat first thing? What are you eating? Maybe you work out first of all. Like, walk me through the day. And I just ask a lot of questions just to get a feel for what their habits are, how they're feeling, what's their mood like, what are they, what are their relationships like? So it really gives me like a really nice picture, a little glimpse into their lives. And then from there, I can start to pull things. I'll be like, oh, I've noticed that you say that you crave sugar every night, like around 9 o'clock. Well, maybe that's because you're waiting way too long in between lunch and dinner. And at both of those meals, you're eating super carb heavy entrees and you're spiking your blood sugar levels. And all of a sudden you're crashing, your blood sugar is dropping and you want sugar. And they're feeling like, oh, well, I need to just not eat any dessert. And I just need to like white knuckle it. And I feel terrible if I do. And I know I'm bad. And I hear these words all the time. Like, I cheat, I'm bad. Like, I have no willpower. And it's like, it's not, you have to take that away and start to become a compassionate detective into your own body. Like, why is it that I'm craving sugar at night? It's okay that you're craving sugar, but like, let's look at the rest of your day and figure out why. And then can we find a awesome swap out, like the Beauty Bar chocolate that you could have at night instead? And so then it really goes into like, maybe it's a mom who puts her kids in front of herself and everything else in her life. And so she doesn't leave time in the morning to make herself a healthy breakfast. So she's like running by Starbucks and grabbing a breakfast sandwich every morning. Or maybe she's not working out and she feels, like she should be, but she doesn't have time because her family comes first and she has to be home to make dinner. So it's like, well, how can we find time? So it goes into all these different directions. And from there, it's like we create a powerful magnetic visualization is what I call it. So it's, painting a picture of how do you want to be feeling? What do you want to be wearing that you're not wearing right now? Who do you want to be hanging out with? What music is playing? Where are you? Are you on the beach? Like, are you in your favorite place? Are you slipping on shorts really quick and a tank top and running out the door versus like going crazy in your wardrobe, not figuring out what to wear? How are your energy levels? Just really painting that magnetic visualization. And then they really want to be there. And it's like a magnet versus like, I want to lose 10 pounds by X date. Like, that is so daunting. It's not fun. You're starting to think about what you have to give up. And so if you create a visualization of what you want, then you can start to create goals for yourself with positive verbiage. So we only use positive verbiage with action steps to go with each goal. So how are you going to accomplish that goal and by what date? And then action steps are fun, like things that they would look forward to versus like having to give stuff up. And so that's kind of how it goes. And then every 2 weeks, they work on those goals with those action steps. And we have free messaging in between. So they can message me, like if they're going out to eat, they want to send a menu, they're excited about something, they want to share. Like it's whatever they need in between sessions.
What's like a positive action goal? Like what is an example? Because all I can think about when it comes to dieting is like, you don't get to eat that, and you don't get to eat that, and you have to work out, and you have to do this.
Right. So let's say that you recognize that you're eating all your meals out. And you're like, every time I eat out, I'm grabbing something that's fast or on the go. I'm probably not healthy and it's not serving me. I feel like junk. So, okay, you want to cook more at home is what you're saying, right? So maybe their goal is, I want to cook more meals from home. It could stop there. And it's like, okay, great. Like do that and I'll see you in 2 weeks. But no, how are you going to do that? If you're not cooking any of your meals from home, it's probably not realistic to give you a ton of recipes where you're going to have to be struggling through, spending like 30 minutes. Yeah.
So it's like, so what do I do? Because I hate cooking. I never have time to go to the grocery store. Or sometimes I'm like traveling. So I'm like, I'm going to go 2 days without going to the grocery stores. I'm going to eat off Honey Nut Cheerios because I don't want to buy all these groceries that are going to go bad. So it's like, what do you
basically
do?
That was my next question is like, how do you have like any like not
how do
time, but how do you do all of this? Because like when I read like health magazines and stuff, I'm like, oh, I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that. But I'm like, that I feel like being your full wellness self is like a full-time job. If like I did the juices and I made the food and I worked out and like I did like the beauty things that make me happy.
It's like unless you're a stay-at-home mom.
Oh my gosh.
Like, but like not even a stay-at-home mom, just a stay-at-home wife. Yeah. Like that's all I could think of because mom
woman. woman.
A stay-at-home woman.
Or
So I
man.
have all the tips for you,
Okay.
for all of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
what do I do?
So
Sorry, we're like, we
I'm-
don't get it. That's the name of our
No,
podcast. so.
I love that. I don't get it. So I don't. It's so funny because it's like this running joke in my family. Like, oh, but Jess, you love to cook. Like, you cook everyone dinner. Because I'm a health coach and I make a lot of meals from home, but I hate cooking.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not a baker. I'm not like spending 20 minutes like making sure free cookies. Like I eat this chocolate. You know, I'm not like that's not me, and I'm super busy. So I know that I need quick go-tos, and that's what a lot of my clients need too. So I'm all about. So here are like my top tips for
Pen
for
to
eating.
paper.
Writing
Number
them
one.
down.
Simplify your life and get a meal delivery service.
Okay.
If you want to cook more meals from home and you want to learn, like you want to feel like you're cooking, you want to have like a night with your significant other and like, you know, feel like you made something for each other, get Sunbasket. Because Sunbasket is all organic, wild caught fish, grass fed meat, like super high quality ingredients.
So it's like a HelloFresh or like a Blue Apron?
Well,
Yeah, but a
HelloFresh,
lot
those
healthier.
you cook yourself. Does Sunbasket you cook?
Sunbasket, you cook yourself. But no, I'm going to give you more. This is just
Okay.
one. This is like I want to learn how to cook, but I don't want to like figure it out myself.
Right.
The recipes usually take like 20 minutes or less. Some are like 30 or 40. But you throw on a playlist that you like. I love French Cafe or like
That's such a good
Spanish
Spotify.
guitar.
You should
Yeah.
put in old Cuban music.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
that's
good.
my other favorite.
That's my go-to.
And then light candles and just pull it out. And I'm telling you, my husband does not cook. He doesn't like to cook. It's the only time in our whole relationship I'll come home and he's like, do you want me to start the Sunbasket? Because it's so easy. And it's just so easy. And all the recipes are something I would never make because they're really creative. And so that's a nice one if you have, like, let's say 30, 40 minutes and you want to cook something and, like, plate it and feel really good about it. That's great. Another one would be you could do like a daily harvest if you are really someone on the go, which does like smoothies and they have bowls. And
I need to try those. Have you guys?
Mom
you guys have
wanted
had
those,
them?
yeah.
They're good.
It looks good. The commercials really sell.
JoJo
Yeah,
always,
smoothies are
she's
super
always
good.
eating them. I'm like, I gotta try
I have
it.
some clients who are super busy and love that for like weeks on the go.
I need to do that.
So that one's good.
That's
Another one, the air fryer. Like
I've had an air fryer
What's
in that
an air
cabinet for the
fryer?
past
You need to
year.
get it out,
Haven't
girl.
made it anything with it yet.
yes. So the air fryer.
Is that like a crock pot kind of thing?
No. So like I got an Instapot thinking it was going to be easy. It was way too complicated for me. So I replaced it with the air fryer. And just to give you like, just to show you how easy it is, my sister, who's my best friend, and also I work with her in business, she does not like to cook. She is like the easier, the better, super lazy when it comes to cooking. And she, like, I've given her recipes in the past where she's like, nope, 2 steps too many, not going to do it. And so the air fryer, she and her fiance are like spokespeople for it. She's been like screaming
That's so
in my
funny.
ear. She's like, get the air fryer. So I just got it and it's so easy. Like I threw in chicken with like seasonings on the top, sweet potatoes that I cut up to make like sweet potato fries on the bottom, some like Brussels sprouts, put some like oil on them, some seasonings. You click like literally the chicken icon.
Shut the fuck up. I need this item.
And in 10
Where
minutes,
do you
it's
buy
done.
it?
Have you not watched
Costco.
Wait, I don't have cable, Ashley.
Yeah, I was gonna say the infomercials for this thing. You
Are
could just want to
amazing.
watch the
And
infomercial for
It's
the.
all low calorie. It's like just.
It
Well, it
tastes
depends
like
what you
fried
make,
food,
right?
Wanna
but
make.
it's
Oh,
not.
No, it's not. It's,
I love that you can put the chicken in the same place you're putting
Exactly.
the See, that's what it is. It's
Yeah,
the
you gotta have
maneuvering.
Multiple pans going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
wait,
what do
I
I
have
look
a
like?
question.
What's the guy that says Bama? Like, I'm not Emerald
Bam,
Lagasse.
Emerald.
You know? Okay, so we all know that we should be taking our vitamins to supplement our diet, right, Lauren?
Yes.
But the thing is, how do you know like which vitamin to take?
Well, I take Ritual because they're obsessively researched.
It's actually really quite confusing to figure out what vitamins you need and what nutrients you need, which is why Ritual is literally the greatest invention. Women deserve a clean, effective multivitamin that they can trust. And when Kat Schneider realized that this didn't already exist, she decided to create her own. And then that's when she founded Ritual.
And instead of taking like a handful of 5 to 8 vitamins a day to get all of those nutrients, Ritual has put them into 2 easy capsules a day. You can order them online at ritual.com for around $1 a day, which is insane because that's like $30 a month, which is about like if you go to the CVS and you look at the vitamins, they're like fucking $38 for a whole thing of that's only one of them.
I know.
It's only one of the vitamins you need. And in Ritual, it's $1 a day for everything in one, 2 capsules.
It's wild. So the Ritual capsules contain 9 nutrients that are honestly hard to get enough of every day, even with the healthy diet. So even if you're like, keeping track of all the omegas and everything you should be having, chances are you're not getting all of them, which is why Ritual is amazing. And instead of taking a handful of 5 to 8, like Lauren said, you should just take one. So you guys can order online at ritual.com for around $1 a day. Like Lauren said, it's delivered straight to your door, and it helps you stay on track with your new healthy habit.
What I love about Ritual is that they have a no nausea design. So they're gentle on an empty stomach. So when you wake up, you can take these so you won't forget, and it won't make your stomach feel all yucky.
The reason why I love it is honestly because it's, it's 2019. It's a subscription service, guys. So I never have to remember to drive to the pharmacy and go get something. Whenever I'm out of vitamins, it's like I'm genuinely living a healthier life because once I run out, the Ritual is right at my door.
You have no excuse not to take your vitamins.
Exactly. So, guys, that is why Lauren and I think that you guys should definitely give Ritual a try, especially if you feel like you don't take vitamins or you get nauseous by taking them or you're just too lazy to go get them. Mm-hmm. This is the answer to all those issues. Try Ritual today because you'll get an exclusive offer for 10% off your first 3 months. All you have to do is visit ritual.com/getit to start your Ritual today. That's 10% off your first 3 months at ritual.com/getit.
So you could put raw chicken in there and it cooks the raw chicken.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like restaurant quality.
All right.
Okay. And you don't have to worry about it being pink inside. It just it cooks itself.
If you cut it, my husband cooked a big ass, can I say it?
Yeah. You can say it.
Steak in the air fryer, and it was slightly pink. And so he just threw it back in for a couple more minutes and it was fine. Okay. But it truly is the first night we did it, he could not stop. He's like, I just love to. I want to cook every day. He's been
oh my god, I'm so excited. Where you got this?
Easy.
Amazon?
Get it on Amazon or the one on
I'm gonna
Costco.
order it right now.
The 6-quart. Get the bigger one.
Yeah, they're not that expensive either.
No, it was $90.
Fuck
maybe
yes.
less, maybe 70. So get that, and then rotating super simple meals. I always tell people to come up with 5 things that that you like that are really easy. Mm-hmm. So a go-to for me for people who wanting to do a little lower carb, there's a pasta. It's not really a pasta, but it's called palmini, and it's made out of hearts of palm, and it's just
what's a heart of palm?
Artichoke.
Okay, that's what I thought. Maybe.
Into linguine, strip
okay.
Noodles.
That's what it looks like.
That's it.
All right.
And then you can just it comes in these cans on Amazon. You just rinse it off, throw it in a pan, add whatever sauce, vegetables you want, shrimp, and just cook it. And it's done in 10 minutes. So that's a great one. Rice bowls, either real rice or cauliflower rice, throw that in. Think about okay, do you want an Asian night? Okay, cool. Do you avocado, cucumber? Think about what is Asian? What can you throw on there? Mexican. Okay, black beans, salsa, guacamole. Throw that on there. Super fast if you have a rice cooker. So those kinds of things. And then lastly, Instacart is the best thing ever because you can order all your groceries on it. And you pay, I think it's $90 for the whole year. There's no delivery, no service charge when you pay the membership.
What? That's it?
Yeah. You go on and in my area, there's Erewhon, there's Vons, there's Sprouts, there's CVS. And you choose everything you want.
From different grocery stores?
And one shopper will go to all those stores.
No way.
Yo, being a millennial is the best. People used to have to get on horses and fucking kill cattle.
And you pay $4 in tip.
Really?
Yo, we don't even
I should not be paid.
I should not be my arm should not be this flabby right now if I had Instacart,
It's just so sad how lazy
your arms are
society is, but I love
We
this.
also have that sponsor. It's the ugly fruit and the ugly vegetables.
Oh, Imperfect Produce.
Imperfect Produce. So
that's another that I use that too.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So here we are. Great advertisement for our advertisement.
Yeah, I love Imperfect. And one thing I'll say on the Instacart, okay, so how many times do you go into a grocery store and maybe you've just hit the gym and you're really hungry, or maybe you haven't and you're starving, And
you don't get the temptation.
You
You don't get the temptation of the grocery store because
Exactly.
you just like order it online.
I know. I'll
Yeah.
like sweat like a bajillion tons in Pilates. I'll go to Target and I'm like half a goldfish bag deep before
Yep.
I'm at the register.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, what was the
The
point
French
of that?
baguettes always get me.
Oh,
I'm like,
you
just
leave
grab
with-
it.
Ooh, Marie, the baguette.
I'll just be in the I'll be in the aisle and I'll be like, I know you want it. Don't get it. I want it. Don't get it. I want it. Don't get it. I'm just staring
You're
at
like
it.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't get it.
exactly. Or you leave and you're like, you get home and it's like you have everything but
the thing you
the
want
toilet
that for.
paper, which was like the thing that you really needed.
Yeah.
Because you're so hungry. And so I think if you could just go on there and you're like, okay, it's Sunday. What do I want for the week? And just select. And if they're out of something, they'll swap it with something else that you approve. They'll even text you and be like, hey, there's no organic chicken. I'm swapping it for this stuff. Like, is that cool? And if you get them before they leave the store, you can make changes. Honestly, those things, if you can just have like a combined effect of all that, like I have some basket every week that does 3 meals, Instacart for all the groceries, the air fryer for the easy stuff, and then allow myself to eat out when I want to.
Yeah.
I guess
You know?
eating out is my big other question. I feel like in order to have a social life, you have to like eat with your friends, and then we never choose to eat anything healthy with your friends because that sucks. Like even today, I thought it was okay. I was like, okay, well, I had my fattening meal on the plane today, so I'm actually just going to eat like greens for the rest of the day. I really, really thought this. And then Courtney texted me. She goes, we have, what is it called? Nocturnal eats. We have nocturnal eats. Like, I'm going to go pick some up before I come
you're not
over.
gonna say no
and
thank
of course
you.
I'm not going to say no thank you. She goes, it's really like late night junk food. And I'm like, oh, I should say no. But I'm like, I'm not going to say no. She's going to bring it over.
Why
It
do you
tastes
feel like
so much better when it's free.
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
It's, I can't say no to free stuff.
going to say it was free. But yeah.
We love you, Nocturnal.
Yeah. Why do you feel bad about it? Like, I guess I would start there.
I feel bad about it because I feel like it's not an occasional thing. I feel like I'm constantly at places where food is available for me in my picking. And maybe maybe it's
privilege.
just I know but that's what I mean. Like I don't
First
want to
world
I
problem.
don't want to say
I'm offered too much free food.
I'm offered okay, fine. I wasn't trying to say I'm offered too much free food,
no,
but
I
I feel
get
like
it.
a
I'm
lot
making
of
a joke.
people,
I'm
like
kidding,
in
yeah.
their workplace, like they'll be like muffins and
Donuts.
and donuts
It's
and,
true.
and bagels, and like there's
office
always like
snacks.
office snacks out, and you're just like, oh well, it's sitting there, and like it looks really good. I'm just gonna have this. I mean, you're like it's gonna get me through my work day. I think a lot of food gets you through your work day. You either, for me, I'm like, oh, it's a rough day. You can eat this, and then, or if you had a long day, like can't wait for you to come home and then just like pig out.
Yeah, so I mean, that goes again to maybe just not being set up for success in some ways. Like, I call it scripting your setbacks. So if you know that you have a trip coming up and you're going to the airport that only has unhealthy food options that are going to make you feel super bloated and gross when you get off the plane, that scripting your setback would be planning to pack a little bag of snacks with
Like
you that you actually
blueberries
enjoy.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, but stuff that you like too. Like, I always pack a protein bar, like a bulletproof protein bar, or some mixed trail mix. Like, I'll mix macadamia nuts with cacao nibs and coconut flakes and make like a tropical trail mix. Or I'll bring like avocado and crackers. Like, just having a little bag of stuff, and nut butter packs, like with apples, stuff that you actually like. And that way you can enjoy that. Your digestion's going to be better on the plane. You're not going to feel so bloated when you get off. And you can save the actual good meal for when you're eating at a restaurant that you're excited about.
That makes sense.
Okay, so I have a...
I like, you guys you're so great. I love your flow.
We
Thank
love
you.
your flow. Since this podcast is obviously, surrounded around health, I want to talk about the most important component of health to me personally, which is my mental health. So we came across this company called BetterHelp that all three of us are obsessed with, and we really, really want, we really are behind, and we really want to encourage you guys to check it out. So BetterHelp is online counseling. And the reason why I love it is because you guys know I go to Dr. Mike, but Dr. Mike is a very busy man and he's sometimes not available. And what's really cool is that you can connect with professional counselors in a safe and private space online. It's so convenient. You can get help on so many things from depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, grief, self-esteem, and anything you share is confidential. And it's so convenient because they connect you with over 3,000 U.S. licensed therapists across all 50 states. I went on recently because I just got a lot of anxiety. I've been getting like a lot of great opportunities, and I feel like my confidence level hasn't really rised to like the opportunities I've been getting. And sometimes I get a lot of anxiety going into stuff, and it really helps to talk to someone that sometimes it just helps to talk to a stranger.
Absolutely.
You
know about that. There's also 4 communication modes. You can text, chat, phone, or video. Whatever one you feel helps you get your emotions across better, you should do that. I feel like I do the video more often just because I can understand or feel what the other person's thinking through video. And they're all available on desktop, mobile web, Android, iOS apps, and you can schedule video and phone sessions. You can start communicating in under 24 hours after you sign up. They have broad expertise in the network, which may not be locally available in many areas. Also, there's financial aid available for those who qualify because we know that therapy can be very expensive. So this is a more affordable way to get that. It's secure, convenient, professional, and best of all, it's truly an affordable option. I Don't Get It listeners get 10% off your first month with discount code GETIT.
So why not get started today, guys? Go to betterhelp.com/getit. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor that you will absolutely love. That's betterhelp.com/getit. I know you guys probably want to talk more about food. Should I wait for, my question doesn't really have to do with food. Should we stay on the food train a little longer? Or?
Whatever. Let's keep flowing with
more
our
food?
thoughts.
Okay. I was curious to know, because you brought up, normally it starts out with people coming to you and saying, like, I want to lose a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. But then you said it ends up turning into, like, something that's so much bigger and more than that. Mm-hmm. So I'm, like, more interested in, like, what you help people with, like, spiritually and mindset-wise, and when it comes to, like, stress. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. After all the food stuff, because obviously it's like a part of it.
People develop their problems with food because of an issue.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's
totally
like the part I'm interested in. But if you have more questions about food.
Well, I guess my last thing was like, I know that I'm setting myself up for failure by doing what I do. But how do I like create willpower when I see a free bagel to not say yes to it?
So willpower is kind of BS because I really don't believe in willpower. I think that you're not going to do something you don't want to do. Okay. You know? And so I think that, and that's sort of like a guilty word that I hear a lot, like, I don't have the willpower, or like, you should just have the willpower. And then it makes you feel like you don't. And so I think it's more that, let's say you like really want the bagel. Yeah. And you're like, damn, that looks so good. I really want it. Just stop, take 30 seconds to be like, what do I really feel like right now? If I take away what the little voice in my head is saying I shouldn't or should be doing, if I take away like the pressures from what I've heard on the podcast, if I take away all those pressures and I just focus on what I really feel like, and then the second question is, how do I want to feel afterwards? If I want to feel really energized and light, and I know that eating a bagel and cream cheese kind of weighs me down and I'm going to be hungry 2 hours later, maybe I can take, but I still really want it. Maybe I eat half the bagel with cream cheese and I do like half an avocado on the side with some salt and pepper to give me a little bit of fat to slow the absorption of the blood sugar spike. So like, just kind of, or maybe you check in and you're like, I really want this bagel and cream cheese right now. And it's okay if I don't feel so great afterwards because I really want it. For dinner, that's where I'll have my greens and I'll eat like more of a balanced meal.
I feel like that's what I usually try to do. Just be like, you can have this now, but you have to have something better later. Yeah. But I think that taking 30 seconds is probably really beneficial. Mm-hmm. I know that like each craving's supposed to last like 20 minutes. Like if you like let that thought pass and then you like think about having that food again 20 minutes later, it doesn't sound as enticing. Mm-hmm. So I think like 30 seconds, you're like, okay, do you really
take your own 30
seconds,
Ash, and go through the process?
I know.
Well, see, it's funny for me. I feel like I get those cravings, but I feel like it's because I'm not fixing something else.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Mine
It's
is
like,
taste bud related only.
yeah, mine's like, I think stress related or procrastinating. Like if I'm like really stressed about doing something, I'm like, well, I'm a human. I need food. So I must stop this right now.
funny.
I have to nourish myself. And then I'll sit back down after the bagel and cream cheese and I'm like, why the fuck did I eat that? And then I'm like, well, now I have to go get a green juice. And it's just like, it's like everything around it almost for me, I think.
So you're saying that when you get stressed, you feel like that'll kind of help you? Like that's like it'll make you feel better? I mean, it's kind of like when
it's like, it's almost like an instant gratification in the moment. Like it's like a way to feel good in a moment. Like eating something that tastes really good. I mean, but this is strictly to food. But the issue is like, I feel like the way we live, I'm like always going to be stressed. Like how am I never not really going to be stressed?
Yeah.
You know?
So I think your question is more about like how do you reduce
fix everything around it so that I'm not like running to eat the bagel and cream cheese because of other reasons.
It's a comfort. It's totally a comfort thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing because food is comforting. And when things are really hectic and stressful, well, one, you increase your cortisol levels, which can actually make you crave sugar more. And so if you're craving sugar, carbs are also sugar because carbs turn to sugar in the body. That makes sense that it comes from a stress response, but then also you're getting that dopamine hit if you are going for carbs and sugar that makes you feel instantly better. And so those are a couple of the reasons, but it is also just kind of like, I want to get my mind off of this. Let me just go eat something that tastes really good and feel happy for a second. That is that dopamine hit as well. But I think it's
Do
about...
they have like dopamine pens, like vape pens?
That's a great idea.
Wouldn't
I
that
wouldn't
be
say
great?
that out loud because you might have a business plan there.
Guys, how amazing would that be?
you think
It's
of
like,
that before?
I don't need to eat the bagel and cream cheese. I'll just take a hit of dopamine.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a
millennials
vape.
are now
It's
on
nicotine.
dopamine.
Well, the thing with
But it's not. It's dopamine.
No, I mean like it's like the nicotine pen without the smoking tobacco.
exactly.
It's a fat without the fat. You know,
Yeah.
the craving with the fat.
Well, and it's
We need
kind
a
of
food
like...
pen.
Yes, that's what I mean.
writing
It's
down
like,
a food pen.
oh my God, we're going to start selling the
where
food
it's
pen.
just like the smells of the foods that you really
terrible.
crave that come out. Have you guys seen that?
No, we'll
Sorry,
never
this is a
turn our back on
random,
food like that.
random.
This is a
side
random
tangent.
podcast.
But have you guys seen the water Scent? It's like SZENT.
No.
I'm not affiliated with them at all, but they have these different flavored waters. There's like passion fruit, lemon, lime, and I've been drinking them for a while. I get them at events and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's passion fruit. Like it tastes like a hint of whatever.
Is it called Hint?
No.
Oh, because we had a sponsor called Hint.
Yes, I have two at my events, but this one is Scent, and the founder was at an event that I was a part of, and she was like, "Oh, did you know what makes this water so different? Is that the little like the when you unscrew it, like the piece around it at the top." That's scented with passion fruit or lemon or lime, and there's no scent in the water. It's just water. So it's showing that like your sense of smell has such a big correlation to like your taste. And so if you just smell it, you think that you're drinking it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds anorexic to me.
Well, right. I'm not saying do that.
Not that, you know what I'm saying, but it's like, let me just smell.
Yeah.
It's like
But a
chewing
lot
and
of-
spitting.
I think the reason is a lot of waters that have those scents in them, they're like unnatural flavors. They're chemicals. So it's just a
totally.
way to get pure water and
without
feel like,
all that stuff.
yeah,
I love
That's
that,
really
actually.
interesting. I'd like to try it.
Yeah.
So, hey, Scent out there, send us
Send
some. Okay, well, speaking of eating disorders, so you said you yo-yo dieted. Did you have an eating disorder?
I don't think I ever thought that I had an eating disorder, but I think anytime you're restricting your calories super, super low, that is an eating disorder.
What's super low for you?
I mean, so the most intense thing I've ever done is this thing called HCG, where you inject yourself with HCG shots in your stomach, which is a hormone that apparently pregnant women produce that helps to satiate you so that you're not hungry. And then you eat 500 calories a day. And so, like, my lunch was like a can of tuna. And then breakfast was like 2 eggs. I mean, it was so limited, and it was terrible. And I did it because you're supposed to be able to lose 30 pounds in 30 days.
Where do you get this? I mean, I'm not saying I
Yeah,
want it, but
yeah.
I'm saying it sounds
Yeah, it
illegal
sounds
or something.
totally legal.
So I was a health consultant for a national weight loss clinic, and it was one of the programs that they rolled out. It still exists in places, and yes, you will lose weight, but you're eating 500 calories and you will put it right back on.
Were you starving? Did you feel hungry?
Well, the HCG kind of satiates you a little bit, but I felt like super weak, shaky. I was taking clients and I would forget what I was saying, dizzy. I had side effects like where one day I was straightening my hair and realized that my arm hurt so bad to hold my hand up because I was so fatigued and weak and would like climb up the stairs and felt like I ran a marathon. And it was like, okay, this clearly isn't healthy and it's not working for me. And I did lose weight, but then I put a lot of it back on because there's no transition out of that. And so that to me was an eating disorder. And then I went from there to like 1,000 calories and 1,200 calories. At one point I was eating 1,200 calories a day and working out 2 hours a day. And just really, like, I would eat an egg and I would take the yolk out. I would eat 2 eggs, take the yolk out and put salsa in it. And that was my breakfast before a 2-hour workout. And so, and
did this experience lead you to do what you're doing now? Is that kind of how you found like, holistic approaches?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story, but just I'll give you like really quick cliff notes, I guess. I started yo-yo dieting in high school when I was like 17 or 18, about to go into college, and had quit all sports. Like I was on swim team, volleyball, but was eating at Taco Bell and like doing all the stuff with my friends. And then all of a sudden, like overnight, I put on 30 pounds. And my mom was the one who came to me and was like, Jess, you put on a lot of weight in a short period of time. I'm a little bit worried. And so rather than go the route that she would have had me go, which was balanced eating, you know, the healthy way, I just hid it from her and I found out about yo-yo dieting. I started taking diet pills. I started restricting my calories. I started doing all different diets. And that went all the way through college, out of college, and even into when I met my husband. And then I went into, when I moved to LA like 5 years ago, I got into working in PR and marketing and actually like influencer outreach and digital marketing and all that stuff. And it was so stressful and so overwhelming that I developed really severe debilitating migraines. And I was in and out of doctors' offices who gave me prescription pills that didn't work. It just caused it to come back the second they wore off. And I was just sick of feeling like shit. And I was skipping lunches to work through lunch break on my computer. I would never go with my coworkers to lunch. I would just sit and eat through. I would like eat a piece of turkey bacon with a rice cake for breakfast and drink 4 cups of coffee. And I just finally was like, something has to give. I know better than this. I was raised by a health educator mother. I ate very healthy growing up. I have all the tools. I've done it before. Like I need to get better. Like this, I need to get back to work and I don't want to feel like this. And so I basically threw all the medication down the toilet and went on this like holistic eating plan. And it was kind of like a elimination to figure out what was going on with my head. And through that process, I learned so much. And I really felt like I cured myself of the yo-yo dieting, of the migraines. And I decided I want to help other women do the same thing. So while I was at my PR job, I'd be researching like certifications and signed up for this Institute for Integrative Nutrition to go to school there. I had like multiple talks with my parents, my sister, and they were like, do it. You know, my husband was like, just do it. Like, we've all got your back. Like, just quit. And so I just took a major leap of faith, quit my job, like got a bunch of side hustles, like a ton of side hustles while I grew my business. And that was about 3.5 years ago. And since then, it's really grown from like private one-on-one coaching to I do a lot of events, retreats. I partner with my mom, who's a hormone health educator, and my sister, who's now the founder of that business, Your Hormone Balance. So we work to help people balance their hormones naturally. And so it really is like, I feel like my purpose is to help other women see that it doesn't have to be so hard and that it doesn't have to be so black and white, and you don't have to restrict yourself all the time. Like you can find a place of balance that works for you, and you can still have wine and tacos and pizza, but also find a way of eating that really works for you long term. And so I know that's what I meant to do.
That's so beautiful.
That's
I love
Thank
it.
you so
You're
much
incredible.
for sharing that.
Yeah, of
Do
course.
you feel like it all, I know we've talked about food this whole time, but you think it all stems from like starting with food then? You think it all starts with food?
I don't think it all starts
No.
with food. I think food can be the catalyst. Food is sort of like that thing that we can control. And so we want to control. We think if I eat X calories or this type of food, like I can control the outcome. And when I'm out of control, that's when I don't feel good and I feel guilty and I can't maintain anything. But I think it starts with the deeper things going on. It starts with your self-worth. It starts with, why are you restricting yourself? Like, did someone make you, did you feel restricted when you were younger? You know, do you have a lot of pressures from the person that you're with to look a certain way and therefore you're restricting yourself? Like, why are you doing it in the first place? Is it stress? You know, is it that you've never been taught how to eat for your body type? Is it that you are comparing yourself to your sister? Like, what is going on? And like getting to the root. And then from there, sort of like working out, like, okay, how do we reduce the stress in your life? Like, how do we have those difficult conversations with the toxic friends or family members in your life? How do you set boundaries? Like, what does self-care look like for you? How do we create space? Doesn't always look like a massage and a facial. Like, that costs money and we don't always have enough time for that. So like the total basics of self-care, like just getting back to that. And when you dig into all those other pieces, it becomes so much more than just the food. And as a result, you start to want to eat better because you're feeling better and you start to make better choices. And so I think focusing on the food first and telling you what you should and should not eat is kind of doing you a disservice. Like, it's not going to last long term.
It's not even about the
What
food.
can people do that like maybe can't afford to have like a holistic doctor? Like, how could they find out how to help themselves on their own?
A holistic doctor or like a coach or any support.
Wellness coach, yeah, all this stuff.
I think, well, first of all, I think research is good, but it also can be too much. When you are constantly reading different articles or listening to different experts, it's hard to form your own opinion. So I think just really starting, like I said, going back to the basics, like what feels good in my body, maybe thinking back in time, when did you feel the best? What did that look like? What were you doing? And I think a really easy tip is to keep a food and mood journal. So
Food and mood
journal.
How do you feel after?
I actually really like the way that you put that hand in hand.
So I created one because I have a lot of clients who have tracked their calories on apps, and I've done it too, like MyFitnessPal, and it's just like very obsessive, right?
Yeah.
It's the worst.
And if you don't check in one day, you're like, well, I ruined my whole diet. I'm not even going to try anymore.
Or like if the place that you're eating out at isn't on the app,
Yeah,
you're just like, oh my God, like tomato plus burger.
Totally. It's like an emoji game.
Yeah, totally. So I think the food and mood journal is really great because you can write down, what did you eat and how did you feel before and afterwards? And also I have them mark little things like, what liquids did you drink? Like, how was your sleep? What was your energy like? And then you can go back at the end of each week or month. End of each week would be great, and start to track habits and patterns. Like, oh, wow, I'm super hungry and I'm super hangry, like on the days where I have this for breakfast, but I'm actually way more satisfied when I have this other thing. Like when I don't sleep well, I'm tending to go for way more sugar. And so it's just really looking at the food and mood as a reflection. And then that can help you to see like, okay, this is what's working, this is what's not. And it's not just all about the food.
Okay, so do you have any more spiritual questions? Because I know you brought up something, but I do want to give her mom about 15 minutes to talk about hormones.
Okay, so we're going to give your mommy a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Mom. So I'm sitting here with the ladies of I Don't Get It podcast. We've had so much fun chatting all things holistic health, and we wanted to call you in to ask you a couple of questions if you are willing to chime in and answer.
And Lois is excited to hear from you.
I was like, yes, tell me everything.
So
Should I
you
get
ready?
Riley in here too?
Oh, yeah, you should get Riley in. We have a little schnoodle, or she has a schnoodle at home.
Well, I guess I got a question for you. So you're the hormone expert, and I have been on spironolactone and orthotricycline for the past 8 years, and for my cystic acne. And at the Dermatologica event, you talked about how you can ease cystic acne with, what's the vegetables called? Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and kale. Can you explain how that works to our audience?
Yeah, but for one thing, the first thing you'd want to know is if your hormone levels are, if your testosterone or estrogen levels are high, as we can determine through testing, then, we make those kinds of recommendations because you've got the symptoms, and then we've confirmed the symptoms with the actual imbalance that we can detect through the testing. And then based on that, that's the kind of recommendation that's a pretty benign recommendation because it's really just nutrition. But it's been shown that, and there are many things you can do to reverse cystic acne hormonally. But as it happens, research has shown that there's an active ingredient in cruciferous vegetables called indole-3-carbinol. And crucifers are like cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Help me here, Jess.
Broccoli, kale.
Broccoli and kale. And so those in particular have been shown in the research to actually promote proper, or let's say to improve the metabolism of hormones. Because, everything in the body has to be metabolized. We want to use it and we want to lose it. We don't want to store it. And in particular with hormones, when we store hormones in the system, like if there's too much testosterone being stored in our tissues, our skin breaks out. If there's too much estrogen being stored or recirculated, we get, too much inflammation, which contributes to things like what the acne you're talking about. So we want to help metabolize those properly. We want to assist the liver. And for some reason, chemistry shows, natural physiology shows that it's assisted, this metabolism is assisted by cruciferous vegetables. It's also assisted by anti-inflammatory eating habits, etc. But there's something called DIM, which is there's indole-3-carbinol, which is that active ingredient, and then there's actually a supplement called DIM, which refers to another active ingredient of cruciferous vegetables, which you can actually use as a supplement. Because when you're talking about eating crucifers, first of all, you've got to saute them or steam them. You don't want to eat them raw because they can interfere with thyroid function, and you can't be eating 2 pounds of broccoli every day. So you want to
learning so much.
Supplementing with DIM is one way to cut to the chase.
Okay, so you and your daughter have a company which helps girls figure out their hormone levels, which can tell them what they should eat to better balance themselves in almost every aspect of life. So what is the company called, and how do we send in our hormones to you?
Okay. Well, just let me go back a little bit, because I am a health educator and I've been working in the field of hormone
and by the way,
and
Mom,
balancing.
Before you go on, your name is Candace Birch. I don't know if we said that.
Oh, this is Candace Birch.
Yeah.
My name is Candace J. Birch. And Jesse's name used to be Birch too, didn't it?
Aww.
But
you guys are so cute.
But anyway, I started our little company is called Your Hormone Balance. And I started that after 15 years of working as a director of education at a huge hormone testing lab in Portland, Oregon. So I worked with biochemists, I worked with practitioners, compounding pharmacists, as the whole world of women's health and hormonal health was changing, and we had the influx of functional medicine and integrative medicine. And so I learned from all of those people, but my frustration was that I never really got to talk to women as much as I would like to. So we started Your Hormone Balance, and it's a simple process that we offer to women. We have a test that tests saliva, hormones in saliva, which is really the most accurate way to test hormone levels, because it's a non-invasive method that doesn't cause stress. And we're measuring stress hormones like cortisol, and we're measuring estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. And we want to measure in saliva because that saliva has active hormone levels in it that we can capture in salivary gland. So it's also non-invasive, and it's also important to collect those hormones at home, because we want to test the minute you wake up in the morning then again at noon, in the evening, and at bedtime. So Your Hormone Balance sends you a simple kit where you can there are 4 tubes in it, and you test all of those hormones over the course of one day at a particular time in your cycle. If you are a woman who's having cycles, younger women are going to test days 19 through 21 of their cycle.
Okay.
So then when you test your hormones, you send actually easy to put all the saliva samples back in the kit, mail it through regular mail, if you can believe it, but we do this all over the world. Regular mail back to the lab, which is in Portland. The lab analyzes the results, sends the test results to me, and then I get on the phone with you, and we talk through your results together. So that, you don't get a test. It is, because most people, I just had someone the other day say to me, I can't believe I actually get to talk to somebody, that can take me through these results so that it's not just, numbers that I don't know what to do with. So we talk through the whole test, and we talk about how, these levels are indicative of particular imbalances, and then we tie those imbalances back to the symptoms that you're experiencing. And then we follow up with an action plan based on what showed up in the test results. Here's your action plan, and it's a full-on, lifestyle, stress management, eating for balance, supplements that we know are all natural that do not need a prescription. They may include bioidentical hormones like progesterone cream. They may include an herb called Vitex chasteberry. They may include something like DIM that we were talking about for the skin. And, just a whole, what we know in the world of hormone balancing works. And so you're kind of, we really point you in the direction of what you need to do to rebalance and deal with, get rid of those symptoms. Because so many women are told, oh, well, you need to be on spironolactone forever or on birth control forever if you have acne, or if you have PCOS, you're put on something else. It's just, there are natural ways to deal with these things. And sometimes maybe they're a little bit more.
So I'm just saying I'm so down with this. I love the natural approach to it.
So other than skin, what are some other things that our hormones affect that people may not be thinking of? I would assume sex drive. And then polycystic ovarian syndrome, which we were just talking about. That, of course, is hormonally, that has a lot of symptoms.
What is what's the main reason why women maybe our age, we're in, everyone listening is probably most likely in their early 20s to early 30s or 40s. Like, what is the biggest reason
to get your hormones tested?
Yeah, that people come to you?
Well, I think people come to it's been a journey. For a long time, women didn't talk about these things. They just kind of suffered with mood swings, and, I'll name some of the symptoms now. But, for younger women, it's often being tired all the time, or tired and wired, like, hard to drag yourself out of bed but can't fall asleep at night. Gaining weight when you're trying to eat right and exercise, but you're still gaining weight, or you've got this belly fat that you can't get rid of. Having heavy, painful, horrible periods that incapacitate you and keep you at home from work or school, or irregular periods, acne, skin breakouts, mood swings, terrible, what I call pass me the shotgun PMS, where, I talk to women all the time who say,
my mom definitely had that.
That is so funny.
Mom totally had that.
I've never heard of that.
And that's younger women. And so I'm finding a lot of younger women have these terrible symptoms that even put them in the realm of, women who are much older, who are in perimenopause and menopause, where they're actually even suffering with vaginal dryness, or they've got mood swings that are so bad they're just like describing themselves as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde every cycle, or they cannot sleep, having insomnia. And low libido is a constant complaint that I hear, and so often from women who just got married or who are engaged and about to get married, and they're really worried because they have no libido and they're wildly attracted to their partner, and yet You know, they
Precisely.
just can't get in the mood. So there's a lot of these, you know, different symptoms. For older women, I mean, women in, not older, but women in their 40s, that's the perimenopause roller coaster years when hormones actually do start to shift because ovulation is becoming more erratic in the lead up to menopause. The problem is that can take 8 years,
Right.
8 to 10 years. And if you've got somebody who's really got a very stressful life and doesn't sleep and doesn't eat right and skips meals and all that, it can be made even worse. So a lot of those women are really bouncing off the walls with symptoms that are making their life miserable. So they reach out for help. They're looking for help. And I'm happy to say that a lot of women are asking more questions now. They're not allowing their doctors to tell them, oh, here, you know, take a birth control pill or... And by the way, I've talked to women in their 50s who are still on a birth control pill, or here's an antidepressant. And so many women will say, but, you know, I'm not depressed. I like my life. Why am I on an antidepressant? So this is a conversation that has been kind of kept under wraps for years. But I think I'm happy that you gals in the young, you know, now that you're in your 20s and 30s, you know, we didn't learn this stuff in sex ed or even in health education classes. Nobody talked about this, but you guys are talking about it and you're putting it on your podcast and you're getting out the message. And I'm really happy for that. And I think a lot of you are also talking to your moms and saying, Mom, you need to get a handle on this. So, you know, it's getting better. And for older women, it's really important to get their hormones in balance because hormones rule. You know, they rule our mental, physical, emotional lives, and they are also very protective of our heart, our brain, our bones, our muscles. We need them, and we need them to be in the right amount and not out of balance. So it's a pretty important conversation.
I definitely want to urge our listeners to go to, what's the website again?
yourhormonebalance.com.
yourhormonebalance.com.
How much is it?
Yeah.
Is it expensive?
We try to do everything we can to make it palatable or budgetable. So we have installment payments, et cetera. We have frequent. We have a sale going on right now. We have.
So we right now are changing our packages, and we have a sale this week. But I think the podcast might be out afterwards. But that being said, if people want to go to yourhormonebalance.com, there's a hormonal imbalance quiz that they can take. So when they get to the website, they take a quiz that kind of gives them a result of like how out of balance they might be. And from there, just from taking the quiz, you get a $50 off code emailed to you. So you can take $50 off any of the packages.
Amazing.
So that's a really great way of going about it. And I think with everything that's included, if you were to go to a functional medicine doctor or, you know, and it wasn't covered by insurance, you would pay a lot more out of pocket. And with
you'd be paying, oh yeah.
And so with our kits, we have one which is you're getting your hormones tested via saliva. So all of the tests, when you test your hormone levels, it's through an at-home kit that we mail out to you. So you collect from the comfort of your couch, wherever you want to be.
It's like 23andMe.
Yeah, that's what your mom was just, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. It's saliva and very similar.
Saliva, just
the
like
same
that.
kind of into a tube.
Just throughout the day. And then once you send your results in and they come back from the lab, then you'll schedule a consult with my mom and you'll go over the results with her. She'll tell you what it all means and then give you some action items that you can do to start working on rebalancing right away, in addition to that action plan that she described that has natural herbs and supplements, lifestyle suggestions, foods, kind of that holistic approach.
Everything we know. Everything science knows.
I'm obsessed with you guys.
I
I think this is genius because I feel like we as a society just want to rely on like medication the rest of our lives, which one is expensive, but two doesn't like fix like the root of the issue of what you're trying to fix. And I think that's really cool. And I'm so happy that everyone knows that they can do this now.
Thank you. And also what's cool about our partnership is that it started that my mom had this business and then once I became a health coach, it was kind of like, oh, well, it's obvious we should start working together. And so we created a package, which is the regular package, but then we called it the weight balance package. And it includes a session with me and a vitamin D test, and then my 20-day sexy sugar cleanse, which I created to help people break sugar addiction, but also gives them a plan that's really approachable and fun with tons of recipes. It's an ebook. It's all like beautiful photography and just in my voice, and it helps, walk people through it in a really approachable way. And it's for hormone balance too. So it's cool.
And,
because,
I just wanted to...
Oh, yeah, go.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to chime in because PCOS came up in the conversation. I think you asked me now about that. And PCOS is actually another one of those hormonal imbalances that is often caused by a history of eating too much sugar, processed food, junk food, and over time, that sugar causes an elevation of insulin. I'm sure you've heard the term insulin resistance, but insulin resistance or an elevated insulin actually makes your ovaries overproduce the testosterone and DHEA that cause skin breakouts.
Oh, I always thought that polycystic was you were born with.
No.
Oh, wow.
No. I mean, there's
holy moly, you can develop that? I'm going to cut sugar right now.
You can
thank God for this
definitely
beauty bar
develop it.
chocolate.
Yeah.
And it's, and it's not just acne, it's excess facial hair.
Right. No, I know all the symptoms that go along with it. Oh, damn. Okay. Well, you guys.
And it's also infertility. So it's pretty serious. And often people are told, there's no cure for it but taking the birth control pill. And that is absolutely incorrect. It's a hormonal imbalance. But the kind of advice that Jess offers and the help she provides through that sugar cleanse is a huge first step to turning that around.
This is fast. This is revolutionary.
All right. Well, thank you.
It is actually.
Thank you so much. Our listeners are going to eat this up, and we know where to find you. That is myhormonebalance.com.
Your hormone balance.
Yourhormonebalance.com. And
it's all about you.
And Jess, where could they find you on Instagram? And if they want to reach out to you and get some coaching?
Yeah, Body Bliss by Jess on Instagram, bodyblissbyjess.com. And then if anybody's interested in trying out the 20-day sexy sugar cleanse, you can use, I created a code for you.
Oh, thanks.
It's I don't get it 50, and it gives them 50% off. So it makes the cleanse just $30, and it comes with the whole ebook, recipes, Pinterest board, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, hell yeah. Sign up for this right now.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
All right, ladies. We'll talk to you soon.
Mama.
Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this. Maybe we should all get our hormones checked, and then we'll have your mom talk about
and
what
I'm gonna have
our hormones
session
meant.
with Jess.
Yes, that would be great.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Now that is going to
Bye.
that is going to be one show, one hot show.
Wait, did she say
Love
something?
you, Mom. We're excited.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, ladies.
Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.